Howdy folks, we are a little ways north of Fairbanks, Alaska and heading northbound. Our destination is Toolik Field Station. Tulik is a scientific research outpost kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the Arctic tundra. This is a work trip for us. We're heading up to do some maintenance and possibly replacement of some scientific equipment at Tulik. And I thought I'd let y'all tag along and get a look at what it's like to be an experimental space physicist in Alaska. The road to Tulik Lake begins by heading about 10 miles north on the Smurf Highway to the community of Fox. There you join the Elliott Highway for the next 60 or 70 miles. This is mostly paved road, although it can be hard to tell in the winter. Shortly after passing the turnoff to the community of Livengood, you reach a T-junction, where continuing north puts you on the Dalton Highway. The Dalton is a 414-mile, mostly unpaved road built to serve the Alaska Pipeline and the oil fields on the edge of the Arctic Ocean. It's very remote and mostly used by industrial traffic. Tulik is at about mile 285 on the Dalton, so in total we need to cover around 360 miles today. At around mile 50 of the Dalton is a windy ridgeline that seems to always get extra caked over with snow in the winter. And a few short miles after that comes the first big landmark, the Yukon River. This is one of only 4 vehicle-carrying bridges in the entire 2,000-mile length of the river, and the only one in Alaska. This bridge, officially called the E.L. Patton Bridge, is best known just as the Yukon River Bridge. It stretches 2,300 feet and slopes downward from south to north. Just on the north side of the bridge is the Yukon River Camp, one of only 3 places on the road where you can buy food or fuel. The next 40 miles is more boreal forest. Then the road climbs up to tundra at the next landmark, Finger Mountain. Thousands of years ago, people would use this mountain as a lookout for spotting mammoths and other animals they could hunt in the valleys below. Just past Finger Mountain, the road descends back into the forest, and a little under 20 miles later you reach the Arctic Circle. There's a recreation area here with a campground, picnic tables, and a few signs set up for photo opportunities. This is a day tour destination from Fairbanks. Visitors can book a tour to bring them here in a van where they spend a short while taking photos and feeding the local birds before heading back south. For us, we still have a good bit further north to travel still, but I did take a few minutes to share my granola bar with the Grey Jays.
We're gonna...
Something with that.
I feel like that was a good one. Got one ready again though.
Next stop, Coldfoot, the midway point of the Dalton Highway and the last opportunity for fuel until the town of Dead Horse, another 240 miles north at the very end of the road. Coldfoot is in the southern foothills of the Brooks Range, the mountains marking the boundary between the forests of interior Alaska and the open tundra of the northern slope. Here we paid $5.50 a gallon to top off our tank. Unfortunately, it started to get dark around here, so we'll save filming the mountains for later in the video during the trip back south. That brings us to Toolik Lake and Toolik Field Station, and if you're wondering why this shot doesn't look dark, it's through the magic of filming it the next day. Here we are at Toolik Field Station. This building right here is the dining hall. I'll poke my head inside for just a moment. This is where we have our meals. Smells pretty good. Maybe somebody's cooking something. Smells like some curry chicken, maybe. Somebody's been carving jack-o'-lanterns because it's Halloween tomorrow. And then out the back here, we've got a great view towards the Brooks Range. Those are the mountains to the south. It's basically noon right now, a little bit after noon. It's solar noon. So that's as high as the sun is going to get today. And that is part of the lake right out there. There's the lake right out there. This is like an outdoor dining area, but no one uses it in the winter. Got a board over here where people post animals that they've seen. Caribou, lots, everywhere, all the time, everyone. This is unused in winter, but we'll see if we can peek inside. It is unlocked. Showers. I've never been in here before. So in summertime, there's typically 100 to 200 people that come around this area for various types of research. And that's when this sort of building would be used. In wintertime, it's typically only the people who do winter maintenance and caretaking here, and the very oddball few people like us who come in winter for science reasons. So we're all staying in a sort of a main quarters building off in that direction. Oh, here's a good view of one of the toilets. Yes, there are indoor toilets here, but it's kind of a waste of water. So they encourage you to use these. This is essentially a pit toilet, but in permafrost, so they can't dig into the ground. You go in on the second floor there and do your business, and it goes into a tank, which is pumped out and shipped out somewhere else to be dealt with. This is one of the lab buildings called Winter Laboratory. There's a little blue box right up on the roof over there. I think I'm gonna have to climb up there later and check something in that box. Wet lab. Dry lab. What the heck is an isotope-free lab? And this building is the sauna. Again, doesn't really get use in winter, so we're going to kind of not have a good path to walk down here. What do you think? Unlocked? It is. I've never been in here either. Sauna. Wood stove. Window looking out to the lake. What else do you need? So this little blue container at the end here is what we call the Smurf Hut. It's where most of our instruments here are at. You can see on the roof those two stainless steel boxes. I was part of the mission that installed those boxes on the roof here a few years ago. But right on the top are some plexiglass domes so cameras can sit inside and look up and have an unobstructed view of the sky. This is kind of way out on the periphery of the camp so that we're away from most of the lights, which is good for us. Okay, let's go inside. This is an insulated shipping container essentially that we've converted to use. Here's the inside of one of those domes. And you can see we've got a couple of cameras up there. And then, oh, hooked a wire. This is where the big SDI instrument is at. This is what we're specifically here to service. This is the purpose for this trip. But while we're here anyway, we're also dealing with some issues with the other stuff. So most of our tasks on this trip are spent in this hut. Just troubleshooting and seeing if we can fix things, and I've kind of taken on the task of trying to organize all these wires that are hanging around the place. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch my step here because there's no edge or guardrail. But here's what this looks like from the top. We got our camera lenses sticking out right here. This is a Sony Alpha 7S setup, just like we have at Poker Flat for the all-sky camera. Hopefully we'll have the Tulik all-sky available soon online. Is this a spectrograph? It might be. We'll find out when I start fiddling with that later. And here's the top of the SDI, Scanning Doppler Imager. From up here we can see the lake over there, over that still burn. So let's get a 360 here. That's the south towards the Brooks Range. West we've got lake. North we've got more lake and nothing off in the distance because that's like 100 miles of slope to the Arctic Ocean there. And then east, more lake. Thankfully it's not very windy today for climbing on top of things. And last but not least, this building is called Cotton Grass. This is probably the nicest of the visitor lodging. And since we're here in winter where there's low occupancy and it's not hard to come by rooms, we get to stay here. So let's go inside. Here's the wall of sleeping bags for visitors to grab one for their bedding. And we do have just a normal indoor restroom here. We're just kind of trying to limit its use when we can. Showers, toilet. And here's the room I'm staying in. See, it's set up for double occupancy. And it's just a basic mattress and a sleeping bag. Day 2 here at Tulik Lake, morning 2. It is Halloween today, October 31st, and it has become windy overnight. I'm kind of standing in a wind-sheltered area at the moment, but let me stick my head out. Yeah, so there's that. I think we're actually under a winter storm advisory for tonight and tomorrow. But I'm going to take a walk up to the Smurf Hut now and get to work. See what I can get done today. Sure looks nice out here today though. Nice and sunny. Oh boy. The wind actually just twisted the camera cage in my hand. Well, it's time to make the climb onto the winter lab and try to recover a computer from that blue box up there. And I'm realizing I should have done this yesterday before the windstorm hit. Oh, that's lovely. Well, let's give this a shot. Surface is like a skating rink. I feel like the right wind could legitimately just blow me off of here. Okay, I'm in. Took a surprising amount of force to open that box. I think it must have been frozen shut around the edges. So here is our Tulik Digital All-Sky setup. This is the camera and lens right here. And here's the computer controlling it. This is not the computer I was expecting to find. I was expecting a different hardware, but this is what we've got. So I'm going to be taking that down for a different application. So I'm just going to pull that out right now. Got what I came for. Let's get the hell out of here. It is a nice view from up here though, gotta admit. Morning 3 here at Tulik Lake, November 1st. The wind has mostly died down, but it is definitely clouded over. Can't see the sky anymore. Got a little bit of snow last night, and it is significantly colder today. I didn't take a look at the temperature before I walked outside, but I'm guessing it's around 10. So we have determined that the camera is bad in the SDI, and we've pulled that out to take back to Fairbanks for service. Top computer here is going to be running the Sony All Sky. It had a bad hard drive, but I cannibalized a hard drive from another computer to get it working for the moment. This one is the spectrometer, which is this guy. The All Sky is up there. Spectrometer is now working and online. This guy down here is a GPS sensor, which we have gotten back turned on. And that's about it for now. Well, it's Tuesday morning, November 2nd, and we are back on the road southbound, heading back to Fairbanks because we're done at Tulik Lake now. We're still north of Atigan Pass right now, as you can see by the fact that there are no bushes or trees anywhere. Got the pipeline running along right next to the car here. It looks like we're getting a really early start in the morning, but it's actually 9:30 in the morning. Just the sun hasn't risen yet. And we're gonna get moving down the road. And now we could cover the bits of road we missed on the drive north due to darkness. Heading south from Tulik, the first 45 minutes of driving passes Galbraith Lake and the surrounding barren, mountainous tundra, before arriving at Atigan Pass. Atigan Pass, made infamous by television shows such as Ice Road Truckers and World's Deadliest Roads, is the highest year-round road pass in Alaska, prone to avalanches and whiteout conditions. On this morning, the visibility was quite low and the road crews were out clearing snow. Here at the summit of the pass, my passenger asked me if I knew where the road was at, to which I replied, I think so. On the south side of Atigan Pass is the Chandelar Shelf, a wide, open valley containing the Chandelar River. At the south end of the shelf is another steep twisty bit, though it is shorter and less extreme than Atigan Pass. Leaving the Chandelar Shelf behind brings you back into the land of trees. The next major landmark is Sukapak Mountain, a 4,400-foot mountain notable for an imposing limestone face looming above the highway. And that brings us back to Coldfoot, to once again top off on that 550 gas. Though since we no longer needed to quarantine, we were at least allowed to go inside for a hot meal this time. South of Coldfoot, at a place called Gobbler's Knob, we encountered several vehicles sitting on the side of the road. They told us a truck had run off the road just ahead and the road was blocked, and they expected to wait for 7 hours before a recovery truck could arrive and pull them out. Not really looking forward to a 7-hour wait, I decided to put my drone in the air and fly over to get a view, but the high winds on top of the hill forced me to stay low and follow the road, and as soon as the drone started going around the hillside, I began to lose connection. So instead, we decided to go the old-fashioned way and just walk down the road to scope out the problem.
Oh, they got it. They got it.
Okay, we're back on the road. We were initially told that we were going to be waiting at least 7 hours for a recovery vehicle to come and free that truck. But 2 other trucks hooked up to it with some straps and were able to pull it out of the ditch. I don't know how long it took. Maybe we were there for about an hour as an estimate, but it beat 7 hours by a long shot. So we're continuing southbound. We came across a small group of caribou near Finger Mountain. Someone notify those Ice Age hunters. Then it was back across the Yukon River, southbound this time. On the windy ridgeline just south of the Yukon, the visibility dropped to maybe 20 feet, but luckily only for that brief section of road. We reached the southern end of the Dalton Highway around sunset. And we're back in Fairbanks an hour and a half later. Well, we made it. Back in Fairbanks, not for too long, because in 5 days I have to be at NASA Langley in Virginia to support a rocket launch. But for now, we are going to take our equipment in the labs and drop this vehicle off at the University Motor Pool and head home and get some rest. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.